episode. Artist Spotlight. Nickelback. With your hosts, Mike TRTM Blanchard and JT from Saskatoon.
Hello and welcome to GeekCast Radio. This is an artist spotlight, which will be continuing the epic music spotlight we have planned here at GCR. I am one of your hosts, TFG and Mike, and joining me is JT from Saskatoon, who is a fake geek.
Yeah, let's just leave that lie for a while, Mike.
Today we're going to be talking about the band everyone loves to hate, Nickelback.
I can't see why, though. I honestly can't.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. So yes, we're here to talk about Nickelback and briefly tell everybody what you've been up to.
Yeah, well, lately I'm just, like I said, or as you've called me before, an authentic geek, and I'm working on a couple of things to slowly reignite the blog, and I'm talking to a couple of my friends here in town. We're trying to figure out when. Basically, I'm like you at this point in a smaller scale. I'm just trying to get everybody together at one time that we record something.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, considering that we all live in the same town, it might be a little easier.
Yeah.
But no, I've been working on that, just working in general, resisting the urge to run to the movie theater this afternoon and watch Lockout.
Hey, you can go tomorrow.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing that I want to see it. It's just I really should. I just should really hold on to my money. So
it's either that or American Pie.
yeah, I'm gonna wait for DVD. I kind of gave up on that once they had like however many direct-to-DVD things that weren't at all that funny.
All of those are showing up on TV right now.
I know. Well, I was in how you go into some bathrooms and they have like those video ad boards there for you to look at while you're taking care of your business, and there's this one, all it played was the American Reunion trailer. And I was like, there's only so many times you can see that before you want to start punching something.
Yeah.
But I'm getting off topic.
Yes. We're here to talk about music, and probably, I could be wrong in saying this, but currently what is probably arguably Canada's #1 rock band.
I could say, I'd say that's a fair assessment, although I don't think they're in the top 10 most popular Canadian rock bands, but
right.
They're not anywhere near the Tragically Hip or Rush. So,
well, that's because even their own country hates them, apparently.
Well, not everybody. It's a 50-50 split.
It's a 50-50. You're right. Oh Lord, that's funny. So, the way we're going to do this is we have several different topics. Throughout the topics, we're going to have album breaks where you'll be hearing musical interludes from Nickelback, because that's how I roll with my editing. First topic is how each of us started or stopped listening to Nickelback, and I'm going to let you go first.
Well, my first encounter with Nickelback is back in the day, well over 12 years ago. I was hanging out with a friend of mine, Curtis, who used to work at this kind of mom-and-pop computer store back home in Yorkton, Saskatchewan. And I used to go in and hang out all the time, and this is in the early days of Iceberg radio and internet radio stations, and he had on modern rock, and I first heard Leader of Men.
Oh yeah.
And I really like the song. I really like rock singers that have kind of that melodic sort of sound to their voice, and
right.
Chad Kroeger has that in spades, and I really dug the song. And this is well before Silver Side Up,
right?
That I ever listened to him. So I basically knew the one song, and I was like, I dug this band. And then a few years later, well, about a year later, Silver Side Up came out, and we got, How You Remind Me, and Too Bad, Never Again. I was like, God damn, I love this band. Like, I was hooked. And from there, I've got everything from the State forward in my collection.
Yeah, I'm missing a few tracks. Like I have like from the state forward, I have everything except for iTunes does not have the extended version of the Long Road.
Hmm.
The extended version of the Long Road had 14 tracks on it because it had "Yanking Out My Heart" and Saturday Night's "All Right for Fighting," which is a cover of an Elton John song. Um, I don't have again because it was it was like a special edition, import. I don't have their cover of the Queen. We Will Rock You, which was on All the Right Reasons. Super special edition thing.
Yeah.
So there are certain things that I do not have, but other than that, I have literally almost everything. I even have the only three songs that I liked off of Curb. So um, let's see. Let's get into the overall discography here. We've got they first released an EP in early '96. It was released February of '96, called Hesher, which essentially was a 7-track EP. It had Where, Window Shopper, Fly, Truck, Left, In Front of Me, and DC. I don't think a lot of people know about. I mean, a lot of people might know about it, but I don't think a lot of people have really have it in their collection. Obviously, I don't. You don't. Um, so I knew of it. I just didn't know that much about it at all. And then after that, from February going into May of '96, they released Curb. Now, Curb is very interesting because not only is it technically their actual debut album, but the album cover, they actually changed it. The one that we know of, like the blue cover with just the road curving,
Hmm.
that wasn't the original album cover. The original album cover, the re-released version of the album in 2002 has a road on the cover, whereas the original 1996 version shows a wrecked car on the cover. The original is an extremely sought-after collector's item.
I
Uh,
can see that. I mean, especially if it's like rare and such like that for hardcore
yeah,
fans.
yeah.
No,
Um,
because these first two, like Hesher and Curb, like I've heard of them, but
right,
my most of my exposure to them is just doing like the due diligence for this episode. Although I
right.
I did listen to Fly on YouTube. It's actually pretty good.
I I knew of. Obviously, we both found them with the state. The state is their make me well, not merely make me famous, but it's their debut album, and it's the one that kind of got them on the map. And then obviously, Silver Side Up was the more popular one when it got released, but we'll get to that in a second. When it comes to Curb, I found it in a friend of mine's CD collection. I'm like, wait a second, the state was their first album. What is this? And I listened to it and I'm like, yeah, I love Nickelback. And this was back in like 2002.
Yeah.
I love Nickelback, but I don't, I just don't get it. There are three songs off of Curb that I actually like: Little Friend, the title track Curb, and I Don't Have. I listened to Fly in preparation for this. It sounds like a poor rendition of what the Foo Fighters would do later with Learn to Fly. Because that's part of the lyric in Fly is Learn to Fly. And I'm like, why is Chad Kroeger giving the Foo Fighters material here?
I could see it, but no, it's I like Fly. Like I said, it's okay. I'm just not, blah.
Yeah,
I'm not all there for it.
I'm not totally bland on it either, but it didn't like going back from at that point because Silver Side Up had already been out, and like I said, it was 2002 when even found out about Curb. So it was a number of years after it got released. And just listening to that, I was like, this Fly is not the Nickelback I know and love. What the hell is this? Interesting note, between Curb and Silver Side Up, those two albums have the exact same song on them. Just For. On Curb, it is just Four. And on Silver Side Up, it's just For. FOR.
Oh.
Exact same song.
Oh.
Because, again, when I was listening to Curb, I was like, wait a second. This isn't... Why is this on this album? That makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. I guess they were, because most of their albums stick to like a half hour, 40-minute time limit.
Yeah.
For length, and maybe they just need something to fill out the track list.
Maybe so, but I don't know, man. It's just one of those things that. So yeah, we've got Hesher and Curb, and then they hit it big with The State. The State produced Breathe, Leader of Men, Cowboy Hat, Old Enough, to a lesser extent Worthy to Say, simply because that's a song about weed.
Not that that's a bad thing, but
just say no to drugs, kids.
Unless your doctor prescribes them.
Well, and again, The State also has a deal with a dueling covers. Where is that information? Let's see. Position Billboard is... crap. Okay, here we go. Okay, The State was recorded in 1998. In January 1999, The State was released independently with a blue album cover. In 1999, Nickelback's first single, Leader of Men, peaked at number 11 in the Canadian RPM rock charts. Later in 1999, Roadrunner Records signed Nickelback and re-released the album in America. The original blue album cover was replaced by a young boy in a jail cell in 2000. So yeah, I barely knew about this album cover stuff. As far as... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I didn't know about the double album cover on this one either, although the second one, well, clearly they've got a little bit of politic in them, because it's basically... a
boy in a prison cell.
Well, no, that's the original I'm talking about is, it's like a picture. This is a protected area. And there's like, Arabic writing, and there's like a picture of some dude holding a rifle on somebody else. And so I like the second cover better with the kid in the jail cell. It definitely kind of leans more towards...
It's the cover we've already. It's the album cover that we've already known.
Yeah, and then when you think about it, it works better with their music. Like it's more apropos, I guess you could say.
Yeah. What are songs? Obviously, Leader of Men, but what are some of the other songs on The State that you liked?
Honestly, Leader of Men, I liked Worthy to Say. I just liked the way the song kind of flowed.
Yeah, honestly. I do too. Yeah.
Breathe was okay. This is an album that outside of Leader of Men, it's difficult for me to pick any one song just because I like it, but none of them really hook me the way Leader of Men did.
Yeah.
So I did like the acoustic version of Leader of Men. But it's the same song.
Yeah.
So really, it's just Leader of Men for me on this album.
For me, outside of the acoustic version of Leader of Men, I like the first 8 tracks. Tracks 9 and 10 were a little... I just couldn't get into them.
Mm-hmm.
Track 9 is Not Leaving Yet, and track 10 is Hold Out Your Hand. But I absolutely love Breathe. I love Breathe, and I love Cowboy Hat and Leader of Men, Old Enough and Worthy to Say, Digging This and Deep. I actually... after Worthy to Say, that's kind of where I stopped initially when I was listening to the album. When it originally came out,
mm-hmm.
had no interest at the time to listen to Digging This or Deep, and then later on I went back and I'm like, oh my god, these are pretty good songs. So I added those to my favorites as far as from this album. Um, Breathe actually shows up in a Nash Bridges episode.
Nice. I
So
just
that
kind of remembered it because one of the first, one of the first CDs that series that I started collecting as a kid going through high school was Much Music used to put out these CDs called Big Shiny Tunes,
right,
which was basically once a year. It's like a call like 15, 20 of like the biggest kind of rock songs
right.
on the charts over the last year. And the first one I ever got was Big Shiny Tunes 5, which had Breathe on it. And I remember it now, although I didn't remember it until I was doing research for this episode. Breathe actually shows up in the soundtrack for the movie Clock Stoppers.
Yup.
And before I knew that, the only thing I took away from Clock Stoppers is like, hey, it's directed by Commander Riker.
Jonathan Frakes, yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, I like Breathe. It's a great song. It's just really, it doesn't hook me as much as Leader of Men did. So,
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. Um, so then we wait less than I mean pretty much less than a year uh, because you have Silver Side Up coming out, and boy oh boy did this one hit it big. It was
oh,
released.
this is what is known as the Breakthrough album.
Yeah. Oh wow, I did not even notice this though.
Hmm.
Oh my god. This album essentially should have been shunned by everybody because, as I said, the state March 7th, 2000. We have to wait less than a year almost. Well, not really less than a year.
Oh,
It's
Jesus.
just over a year. Silver Side Up was released September 11th, 2001.
Oh, God. No
Yeah.
wonder they hate Nickelback in the States. Oh,
uh,
wow. I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
I mean,
I
it went 17.
so did not know that.
Yeah, it goes 17 times platinum in three different combined in like three different countries. But well, that's cool and all. But when was it released? Death to Nickelback.
um,
Oh, okay. So unfortunate release date aside.
yes, unfortunate release date aside, this album went gangbusters. How
Like,
You Remind Me was essentially if Leader of Men and Breathe didn't put them on the map already, How You Remind Me took a push pin or a peg or whatever else and essentially hammered it into the map for these guys.
oh yeah, no, this was the quantum leap for it. I mean, like I said, the album went 8 times platinum Canada, 6 times in the States, 3 times across the ocean in UK.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like How You Remind Me as a song, especially where he hits that high,
Yeah.
the high note in the like this, I guess in the last third of the song like that.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of the funniest things ever come out of this was that year, or was it 2000 or '02 at the Much Music Video Awards, is they're going up on stage. They're going to be playing. They're introduced by Will Sasso from Mad TV, and he gets up there and he starts riffing on. Okay, everybody, I'd like you to rise. We're going to sing the Canadian national anthem. He starts riffing on How You Remind Me, and you see Chad Kroeger come out. He's sitting there with his arms crossed, just looks like, "What the hell are you doing?" But no, I mean, yeah, How You Remind Me is like I think it's the purest example of pop rock that Nickelback has ever done, because it is a straight up rock song.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah, it is.
but for as much as it dominated, the charts, this thing it could also be called pop rock. Because I mean, let's face it, damn. I mean,
Yeah.
the album sold like 5.6 million copies
Yeah.
as of December of 2010. Just damn, you know. But no, like How You Remind Me, great song. I wasn't such a huge fan of the second single, Too Bad. I loved Never Again.
Yeah. See, what makes, and this is throughout. This will be a staple throughout the entire episode this time around. What kind of pisses me off about Nickelback is when they take a song like Never Again and they don't actually do a music video for it. They just do a live performance as the music video to promote the song.
Yeah.
Too Bad. I'm gonna go ahead and let everybody know that may not know. Most people should already know this. The meaning behind the song. The lyrics were written by the band's singer and guitarist Chad Kroeger and deals with the issues he felt growing up without his father, who abandoned him at age 2. In modern-day Turkey, the song is quoted as someone turns down a Turkish tea offer. Would you like some Turkish tea, brother? No, too bad. Oh, God. But, Too Bad. Too Bad and How You Remind Me, after, like, the millionth radio play of both those songs, at the time when the album was released, I was fucking sick of it.
Oh, God,
I was
yes.
sick of both of those songs.
I mean, I love the song now, but yeah, it's like after you hear it, like, 9 to 5, no repeat workday on the radio, and you hear it once every hour. I remember I called into the radio station. It's like, yeah, why are you guys lying to us? And they're like, what do you mean you're lying to us? It's like, and I wrote it down. It's like at 9:15, how do you remind me? 10:10, how do you remind me?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
11:45, how do you remind me? What happened to no repeat workday? And the lame excuse I got, well, some people work nights and they're done at noon.
Oh, God.
I'm not even kidding. I'm not going to name
wow.
the radio station that called and gave me that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just, what the hell?
Yeah. With Never Again, just like Too Bad, expresses the fact that Chad's father abandoned him. Never Again talks about the issue of his mother's abuse. Events depicted in the song are seen through the eyes of Chad, who regularly watches his mother being brutally beaten by her violent husband. Chad's age is evidenced by the lines. So they were making some pretty powerful songs in 2001 on this album, at least those three anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Chad, well, boy's got issues, but he makes some damn good music.
Yes, he does. Now, because of the constant radio play on How You Remind Me and Too Bad, I essentially went to the other tracks on the album. My other favorites are Woke Up This Morning, Hollywood, Money Bot, Where Do I Hide, and Hangnail. Absolutely love those tracks. Now, at this time, they released Live from Home on DVD, which is essentially a live concert, video concert that they did in Canada. And it has on there, I believe it's with them and Jerry Cantrell, a song called Mistake. The Live from Home DVD is the only place I've ever been able to find this song, and I want an MP3 of it. But sadly, it's the only place you can find it, is on that DVD, which sucks.
No, I've never heard that one precisely, so. No, but as far as my favorite tracks on this, Woke Up This Morning, How You Remind Me, and yeah, Never Again and Too Bad, because the thing is with Chad Kroeger, when he writes about his personal issues, it's like any other rock star. It's just and we'll get into this later, is everyone seems to harp on the fact that he's airing his dirty laundry in his music. Because when say Nikki Sixx or the guys from Motley Crue do a song about their years of drug abuse and alcoholism, it's seen as brilliant and in depth and visionary almost. But when guys like Nickelback do it that have got this stigma, everyone dumps on them. So
yeah. The Mistake song that I'm talking about is apparently a Big Wreck cover. I have no idea who Big Wreck is.
It's a Canadian band.
Okay. Huh. Weird. But absolutely wanted to find that song and still had, to this day, have not been able to find it in audio format. Yeah, so I was gonna say the state Silver Side Up, very very awesome album. It had the producer of Nickelback, obviously, and Rick Parasher. And just going back to the state here for a second, the state had Link. Let's see. The state had was produced by Dale Penner. So they've got different producers every time that they're doing albums.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, moving into 2003, before we get to The Long Road, we got to talk about Ben Affleck and Daredevil.
Oh, let it go, Mike.
No, what do you mean let it go? What am I supposed to let go?
Everybody dumps on this movie.
No. What the fuck you talking about? I love it. I love Daredevil. Shut
Okay,
the fuck up.
I thought you were ought to talk about Daredevil.
No. I'm saying it with a smile on my face. We got to talk about Daredevil because before The Long Road happened, because The Long Road was released. When was it released? Holy shit. The Long Road was released September 23rd, 2003. Daredevil was released to theaters Valentine's weekend, February 14th, 2003. Valentine's Day weekend is when Daredevil was released. I went to go see the movie, and I had you know how you hear radio ads for soundtracks or stuff or that you used to?
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see it on TV where they're like, the Daredevil soundtrack album with new songs from blah, 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 blah. I had seen that once, and it didn't really hit me before I saw the film. And as I'm sitting there in the bar scene, I hear familiar music, and I'm like, wait, is that? No, it can't be. It is. Learn the Hard Way.
Oh, yeah, and the bar fight scene in the beginning
was Nickelback's track on the Daredevil soundtrack. Absolutely freaking loved it.
Yeah. And for me, as a comic fan, that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie because just a quick aside, in the Frank Miller run of the 80s, which really influenced that in the film script, Daredevil, tracks, Joe Quesada, who's like, if you know comics, you know who Joe Quesada really is.
Yes.
He tags Quesada to Josie's bar, which was like where Daredevil, every other issue, Daredevil was busting the place down to coerce information from the criminals that were there. So for me, I thought that was really a cool scene, but it was also, an awesome scene because of that learn the hard way. And you see example of how he uses his radar sense and how he fights, and it's literally like a bat out of hell. And it also has that awesome scene. It's in the trailer, and you don't see it on the DVD unless you have the director's cut, where it's time to give the devil his due, where he's standing on the burning pool table. And I was like, that's badass.
Yeah. But no, learn the hard way. It was like, because the thing with me and me liking Nickelback is we got kind of spoiled between the State and Silver Side Up because it was just over a year between those two albums got released between 2000 and 2001. And after Silver Side Up came out, obviously they want to tour, they want to promote the hell out of the album, so they took 2 years to tour and then obviously writing new music for whatever the next album was going to be. And then hearing Learn the Hard Way I'm like, oh my god, is there going to be a new Nickelback album? I immediately I scoured the internet for information for it because it's like, fuck yes. So, as I said, September 23rd, 2003, they released The Long Road, which is produced by actually just them. It's the band, and Chad is who has the producing credits on this one. They wanted to just do it by themselves. Basically, it kicks your ass right as soon as you start with Flat on the Floor.
Yeah.
The singles off of this one is Someday was again really huge, just like How You Remind Me.
Not as big.
No, well, no. It's not as big, but it was.
You didn't grow to hate it the way you did How You Remind Me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. That's because after like 3 months, radio was like, fuck this. Well, let's move on. Someday was the lead single. Then you had Feeling Way Too Damn Good, Because of You, Figured You Out, and See You at the Show. This album, as I said before, had different bonus versions of it. The Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart special edition bonus tracks are Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting, featuring Kid Rock and Dimebag Darrell, which is an Elton John cover. Yanking Out My Heart, which I think wasn't it on the Scorpion King soundtrack?
Not sure.
I think that's where it was originally. And then, of course, Learn the Hard Way was also put on this. And then the Japanese edition bonus tracks were the acoustic version of Someday and Slow Motion. Slow Motion would show up a year later on the Punisher soundtrack.
Yeah.
Um,
That's the Tom Jane Punisher, right?
Yep. The only
Yeah.
one that really matters.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Anyways. But yeah, Someday, Figured You Out. I also liked Throw Yourself Away off this one and Do This Anymore. This entire album, I think, honestly, for the first 9 tracks, I like Another Hole in the Head, but it's not one that I can listen to all that well. And then See You at the Show was just them saying, hey, see you at the next concert or whatever else. It was kind of cool. What about you? Your favorites on this one?
I liked Someday.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's just a solid song. It doesn't get too preachy. It doesn't get too, it's just a good song. Like for me, talking about music, I like it. It's really hard for me to say why.
Right. Yeah.
But Someday, Feeling Way Too Damn Good. I have like the Walmart special edition, so it has the Saturday Night All Right for Fighting, which I loved because that was on the Charlie's Angels soundtrack.
Yep.
But I think
Wish you would have told me that shit before the show. Anyways.
Well, it just popped
Keep
in
going.
my head now. But I think my favorite song off of here was Should Have Listened.
Yeah, that was a good song.
And oddly enough, it was covered by country music star Travis Tritt. And as much as I like the Nickelback, the original Nickelback version, it works so much better as a country song as sung by Mr. Tritt. I think it works better that way, but it's still my favorite song off the album. And honestly, I did love Silver Side Up, but I think this is the most like kind of stylistically and musically, this is probably the most solid album to date for Nickelback. Because I mean, once they broke through with Silver Side Up and everything that they did working out, this is where everything just kind of coalesced, and this is like, you know what, we did good on this one. So
yeah,
and it's also they go through This band's gone through drummers like I go through Tic Tacs because I mean their first drummer was Chad and Mike's cousin, Brandon. He left, and he was on the first 2 albums, I think, and then I forget the name of their second drummer. He left, and then this is the last one.
Ryan Vikdale was the second drummer.
Yeah, and which led into a bit of legal frou-for-all with between Vikdale and Chad because Chad wanted him to surrender all right. Basically, he sued him to surrender all rights for like royalties and shit for everything that he performed with the band, which kind of a dick move, I gotta say, but business is business. So
he was replaced by former Three Doors Down drummer Daniel Adair.
Yeah. So. And I was like that's a pretty good. I would love to go see like a tour concert with those 2 bands. Because I think they mesh pretty well.
I have very harsh feelings towards Three Doors Down, which people will hear in a later music spotlight when we talk about 12 Stones and Theory of a Dead Man. stuff like Figured You Out and all that stuff is very, very awesome. Apparently, Figured You Out had some copyright infringement stuff, I guess. I don't know. In 2011, Vancouver-based Econoline Crush sued Nickelback for copyright infringement over the song, claiming Figured You Out bears a substantial similarity to their 1997 single, All That You Are.
I don't think I ever really noticed the difference, but because I've got all Econoline Crush's albums, and I know that song. That's one of my favorites. Well, maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
Probably. So, once again, to promote the Long Road, they went on tour for 2 years or so, and during the tour, obviously, they were, doing writing for the next album, which would come in 2005 in All the Right Reasons. All the Right Reasons, I've heard people say this, and I tend to agree. All the Right Reasons is essentially their Hysteria, or their what's that Guns N' Roses album?
Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah, thank you. Appetite, yeah. This album is essentially what Def Leppard's Hysteria was to them, or Appetite for Destruction was to Guns N' Roses. This album, basically, they were already on the map by this point, but this launched them into superstardom. This
cemented their legacy in a way.
Yeah, if you look at the releases as their discography goes, specifically starting with The State, not Curb, but starting with The State, as I said before, you've got 2000 or 2001. From 2001 to 2003, they promoted Silver Side Up. From 2003 to 2005, they promoted The Long Road. 2005 to 2008, they went from a 2-year gap to a 3-year gap because All the Right Reasons went gangbusters.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody loved this album. At least the people that like the band loved the album. And it was just amazing. Right off, kicks your ass with Follow You Home, Fight for All the Wrong Reasons. The lead single was Photograph. Now, a lot of people compare How You Remind Me, Photograph, and Someday as being essentially the exact same song, but just a few different chords. I disagree, because the way I look at songs is I look at what story the song is telling. I don't look at, if it's the same 3 guitar riffs. I don't care if it's the same 3 guitar riffs if the song is telling a decent story.
No, I can see, you listen to it, it does sound similar, but again, and this is the basis, and again, we'll get into this more later on, this is the basis for why a lot of people don't like Nickelback.
Yeah.
That everyone is all their songs sound the same. They all have the same sound. Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, Van Halen. Every great rock band has that signature sound. And more often than not, a lot of their songs may or may not have that. They may all sound similar in a way, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, no, this album is definitely their best. I mean, and it's not my number one favorite album of theirs, but I'll talk about that when we get to it. But
right.
This is a great album, The one song on here that I absolutely loved, and I love the video, was Rockstar. It's my absolute favorite song on this, after Photograph, because the video was awesome. I mean, you look in the almost 10 years that the band's been in existence at this point,
yeah,
and the connections they've racked up amongst musicians, actors, various celebrities. It's basically they went out and they recorded a bunch of people singing verses from the song, both fans and celebrities. You got the dancing naked cowboy from New York City. You got Paul Wall. You got Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, who's essentially playing the devil in the song.
Yes.
Then you have the devil himself, Gene Simmons. You got hot chicks like Dominique Swain, Elijah Dushku, the Playboy, Hef's three girlfriends, Wayne
Yeah.
frickin' Gretzky, uh, Nelly Furtado's in there, Canadian singer, and it's
Yeah.
just one of the most fun music videos that of the last 10 years. Because I mean, you think about it, you get fans. There's even towards the end of the song, you see a little blonde kid wearing a toque in a recording studio. That's Chad Kroeger's son. So,
Yeah.
but that the video in and of itself was awesome. But the song itself, it's basically talking about, they've made their bones in the industry and they are rock stars now. But it's kind of like it's almost singing about, the Faustian type of deal that a lot of people would have to make to become rock stars.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just a lot of fun to listen to.
Yeah. Rockstar for me essentially turned into a Too Bad or How You Remind Me because of the constant. It was everywhere. I
Yeah.
like the song. It's a good song. I'm not saying that it's not, but it's just that overkill is kind of what like it's probably the one song on this entire album that I do not have in my Nickelback best of iTunes playlist because I just got so sick of it.
hmm No, I mean, the other one that I really like I said, Photograph Rockstar. I liked Side of a Bullet and it's just one of those ones like you listen to what the song's about
Mm-hmm.
and how basically Chad's gonna take out an ex-girlfriend.
No, actually, that's not what it is.
Oh, is that not what it is? Because that's
No,
what it
sorry,
sounds like.
sorry to correct you, but that's not what it is. Side of a Bullet is the seventh and final single from their album All the Right Reasons. The song was released only to U.S. rock stations. Walmart's Todd Sterling's described the song as one of the heaviest cuts on the album. The song is a tribute song to Dimebag Darrell, who was shot on stage while performing in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh,
Lyrics The lyrics for Side of a Bullet focus on the murder of Daryl and the aftermath thereof. It takes place in an alternative universe where the murderer is still alive and Chad Kroeger is planning his revenge.
okay. See, I never got that. Like, I knew he was friends with,
Right,
Dimebag, but
right.
okay, no, wow. Okay, you learned
The
something.
Yeah, the guitar solo by Dimebag from the Far Beyond Driven era. Dimebag's girlfriend Rita Haney and his brother Vinnie Paul sent Nickelback the track after Nickelback wanted to have Vinnie Paul playing on the track, but he declined by stating that Nickelback's drummer Daniel Adair performed it just as well as he could. So yeah, no, that was a tribute to Dimebag because of how Dimebag got killed. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Side of a Bullet is very, very awesome and interesting song as well. Other singles off of this, we already mentioned Photograph, Animals, Saving Me. Saving Me was featured in, was it Saving Me or If Everyone Cared? I forget which one. There was one of them. It was featured in The Condemned, the Stone Cold movie Condemned. Oh,
That was one of my favorite clips in that movie. At the end, there where
yep.
he drives home and he gets like that slight, the little stone cold smile going on there at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, let's face it, you just killed a crap ton of people. You blew up one of the biggest assholes in the universe, which that in and of itself was pretty damn satisfying.
Yeah.
And then you get to go home to your girlfriend and you see her, damn, just just Ron Simmons, damn.
Yeah.
That was that was the perfect kind of denouement to the movie, and it proves that that I mean I didn't find any information to support this, but I think Nickelback's probably pretty choosy with what tracks they loan out to a soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because I mean they're always like the perfect one, like Learn the Hard Way and Daredevil, Saving Me, in the
Yeah.
Condemned. It's only a couple movies that I'm aware of, but yeah, it's just they're pretty smart about that.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Very much so. Um, All the Right Reasons is essentially an album. A lot of the stuff got overplayed, like Saving Me, Far Away, and If Everyone Cared. Those three songs got even more than Photograph and Animals. Those three songs got overplayed so much. But when I first bought the album when it was released in 2005, I listened to it constantly, all 11 tracks. and it was just amazing. There's also an Australian and Japanese edition. The Australian edition has the live acoustic. Now this is different from the Long Road version. The Long Road version had an acoustic version of Someday, but this Australian version has a live acoustic version of Someday. The Japanese edition had that the Queen cover of We Will Rock You and Follow You Home live.
Yeah.
So yeah.
One other thing I've got to say about if everyone cared, it's, and I have to go back to earlier albums. Is Nickelback's also a pretty I wouldn't say politically, but definitely socially conscious band. Like they do, like this song especially, like the fact that it's talking about what if we all got together and stop bullshitting each other, like how much better the world would be, and the fact that 100% of, I'm reading this off the wiki, 100% of all digital sales for this song was donated to Amnesty International and the International Children's Awareness charity in Canada.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's something I think is really awesome about Nickelback, for the rep and everything that these guys have amongst music fans. The fact that they still give, to speak a little blue, they give two shits about stuff like this.
Yes.
That they make a huge concerted effort, which is another reason why I love these guys.
This little trivia bit in the because I already knew about Saving Me is used on the Condemned, but the one trivia bit that they have here in the article for the album, Next Contestant had been performed live several years before the release of this album. I would not to sound really strange, but I have been a diehard, hardcore Nickelback fan since I found out about them. I would have known if Next Contestant was performed live before this album. I would have found that out, and I'm just now finding it out now. That's, unless it was just it wasn't at a show that they really promoted or anything. You know what I mean? Unless hey, let's go to Saskatchewan and let's perform this song that no one's going to hear until 3 years later, or whatever. But I thought that was an interesting tidbit. Overall, All the Right Reasons is by far, as a whole of an album, is probably their best album to date at this time. It just is. It has everything. It has slow songs. It has hard rockin' songs, and it was just amazing.
Yeah. But the next one, oy.
Oh, come on now. 2008, we got Dark Horse.
Now, when I go this one, it's not that I dislike the album. It's, if I was to put them in order of my, how I love, ascending or descending quality, I think this one, while it's got a few good tracks on it, it's kind of a step back. This is, I'm not knocking the State when I say this, but this is, if I did least favorites or ones that I'm not huge on, I would go with the State, Dark Horse, and then more or less the original, issuing of the albums, just because this one, they went to a really dark place with a lot of these songs.
Yep. Well, and when you have someone like Mutt Lange producing it, I mean...
Yeah, Shania's ex. Hey, it's true. You're never going to get rid of that.
I know.
But no, it's just it's not that I was uncomfortable. It's just it didn't really hook me the way other albums did.
See, for me, again, because by the time late 2007, because this was released, Dark Horse was released November 18th, 2008. So by the end of 2007 and the first 10 months of 2008, they were still on the Dark Horse tour. Or not they were still on All the Right Reasons tour, and those songs were everywhere. And I just got every single song on All the Right Reasons by summer of 2008, I was sick of. I wanted new Nickelback. And when they put out Gotta Be Somebody as the first single, I was like, hell yes. Because they actually put out Gotta Be Somebody as the first, and then Something in Your Mouth right after that.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I loved "Gotta Be Somebody" because that again, that's a song. If they had put that, if they had written that, the 3 years earlier and put that on all the right reasons, that
yeah,
would have just made that album so much better. But it's a great song, and it's somewhat. I don't want to necessarily say uplifting, but
yeah.
it's one of is so much more positive than most of the other songs on this album. Like I'm not meaning to harp on that, but yeah, I mean, Something in Your Mouth. It's well, we all know what Chad was going for with that song. Is he
Yeah.
likes the women,
Yes.
or he's just because this one, I think the biggest thing that what I read about this one, like reviews, is a lot of people is like how he basically went with every sex, drugs, and rock and roll cliche you could think of on this album. So "Gotta Be Somebody" was a great song. "If Today Was Your Last Day" was actually a really great song as well.
Yeah.
And then "I'd Come For You," which was the next single, and then the theme song to the greatest 2 hours every Monday night, "Burn It to the Ground," which is now the theme
Yes.
song to Monday Night Raw.
Yes. Now, when I originally looked at the track listing for Dark Horse when it first came out, I was like, okay, Chad's got his mind in the gutter because without really looking at, without hearing the songs first, obviously, and just looking at the track names, Something in Your Mouth, obviously, I'd Come For You. I know I'm gonna get into this in a second with that song, but Just to Get High. I mean that's it. That's essentially a sequel to Worthy to Say.
Yeah,
Shaking Hands. S period E period X period.
it's sex. Just say it like
I
sex.
know, I know. But yeah, Burn It to the Ground is the new Raw. It has been the Raw theme song for a while now. Um, I'd Come For You. I actually, in doing research for this episode, found out that has nothing to do with jizz moppers. Um, it's a bad Walking Tall reference. Um,
I think that's a Clerks reference. But anyway,
no, it's anyways. Uh, they wanted. Oh, this is very interesting for the music video for this song. I'd Come For You. They, in an interview, Chad Kroeger said they wanted to get Kevin Costner to star as the father in the video. Costner asked Chad Kroeger to be in one of their videos when they met previously, but when shooting for the video came along, he was unable to make it. Essentially, the video is about a father coming to the aid of his daughter who's going to be raped or attacked or something like that. So has a the song what the song actually means has nothing to do with the actual title. So everybody needs to get their minds out of the gutter.
yeah, no, I mean, you could definitely see it with a title like that.
Yeah,
I love that music video.
yeah. That
Uh,
music video was just so powerful.
well, especially because it's like in any film where you got like some like ultra douchey, douchebag. Because
Yeah.
ultra douchey is like a magnitude of a higher order,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
where the hero or somebody comes in just like punches the hell out of them, you're just like, you know what? Hell yeah!
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I have to say the one track that I loved off of this, "Never Gonna Be Alone." I love that, and as much as I love the song, I also love the video, and that's the one thing I got to say. Nickelback has a lot of fun, but they also put a lot of hard work into their videos.
Oh yeah.
And "Never Gonna Be Alone" was like kind of Memento mixed with a little bit of Sixth Sense with all these flashbacks, and then you realize what the story is, a little Pulp Fiction, if you
Yeah.
will, about this girl who's getting married, and she's like keeps seeing her dad. She's flashing back, and she realizes that even though he's died when she was little, he's always been there,
Yeah.
which I thought was a really awesome thing. My favorite track off of this album, like I love "Gotta Be Somebody," "If Today Was Your Last Day." My favorite track is "This Afternoon."
Again, that's one of those ones that's to me, it's essentially the sequel to Rockstar.
Yeah.
And while I do like it, I can only listen to it so many
Well,
times.
yeah. No, and that's I can totally see that. I see it more as this being when this came out, it was released, a couple of years ago at this point, and that was just at the onset of this anti-Nickelback phenomenon that's going on right now. And it was I think it was kind of their way of that a wink and a nod. We know you're out there, and we don't give a shit because
Yeah.
it's basically like it's Revenge of the Nerds, done by Nickelback about these guys throwing a party and one guy's getting the hot chicks and one's getting the beer. And I love the remark of like the ringleader where he's like, Nickelback? You got me Nickelback? They'll do. And then it just becomes like this huge pool party and everything like that. And it's just a lot. It's a fun video. It's one of those types of songs. You're doing that slow cruise around town with your friends, or you're just hanging out in the back porch or something. It's just
Yeah.
it's one of those songs. Just sit and relax.
Yeah, it is a really good relaxed song. The other one I want to talk about before we move on to the final album from them so far at this point is what essentially is their cherry pie song, "Shaking Hands." It's
Oh
a
yeah,
song about a hooker.
no, escort.
It's a song about a hooker.
Did they ever call her a hooker, Mike?
No, but still, it's there. Uh, the annotation is there as far as that goes. But no,
Well, like the song says, she makes six figures working 3 days a week. I mean, there's only a few professions that
yeah, I mean it's kind of self-explanatory that whether you want to dress it up and call her an escort or whether you want to strip her down and call her a hooker, it's the same damn thing. But no, I that song has such a catchy beat and has such a catchy riffs in it. I just absolutely love listening to that song. Dark Horse overall for me was really, really. What I've noticed is as they've become like when they started with Curb, they were kind of really, really raw. And as they've progressed through the albums, they've become more and more polished, and I kind of like that.
Oh yeah, I mean you would expect it. I mean you can't all just be as rough as sandpaper for their whole career.
That's true.
But yeah, no, that's definitely like all the right reasons. And Dark Horse, like I said, it's not my most favorite album of theirs, but it definitely shows a lot more. There's a maturity, obviously, in their music to this point. So, and one thing before we move on, you should mention that "Burn It to the Ground." This is I forget what was the first one you talked about. It was just a live concert. Was it Never Again?
Yeah.
This "Burn It to the Ground" has a music video, but again, it's just basically concert footage and like behind the scenes shots.
Yeah.
There's no real, because I mean, you listen to the song, it's basically anarchy in practice. Yeah. So I really love that song. Video, not so much.
Yeah. Well, I think again why people love that. For me, that is "Burn It to the Ground" is as you said before, it is the Raw theme song, and it's kind of like the end of Raw when they kind of like mix up the tune a little bit, and then they have John Cena pointing in your face at the end of the opening sequence.
Yeah.
It's also live action Bumblebee's theme song because it was playing at the party, and then he pisses all over the Robo Chick in Revenge of the Fallen.
Oh, the Decepticlut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just, I saw that in the theaters, and I was kind of like, okay. For some reason, I'm okay where he drains his oil pan all over Agent Simmons, but when he does it to the girl, it's like, no, that's too much. But no, that's I didn't notice that before.
Yes. And the most recent album, which was released November 21st, 2011, Here and Now.
I'm going to say it right now. This is my absolute favorite Nickelback album.
I would have to agree with you. These 11 songs are I can listen to this album over and over and over again.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, and I hope it comes out as a single on radio because just listening to it in the album, it's my favorite. Is the last track, "Don't Ever Let It End." This is what this afternoon was on Dark Horse. "Don't Ever Let It End" is for Here and Now.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
I think honestly, my favorite tracks right off. Like I gotta say, basically, this is the only because like I love this album. Like I said, it's my favorite. This is the only Nickelback album that I listened beginning to end without skipping. Like I don't put this on shuffle ever.
Yeah.
Because This Means War, which I think this was used as one of the most recent pay-per-views. Pay-per-view WWE pay-per-view song
was.
titles. Bottoms Up, like I think you said on one of the, I think when you did a review on one of the last Nerd News or something, we did an album review for this anyhow, where you said Bottoms Up was basically the favorite single of bartenders and waitresses everywhere.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's going to be played in strip clubs and bars and stuff like that because it is a bar song. This Means War was played on WWE's Elimination Chamber 2012.
Yeah, that's it. Stand Together goes back to If Everybody Cared.
Yeah, it does, but it's for me it's more when we stand when we stand together it's more catchy for me. Like If Everyone Cared was a slow song to me. But When We Stand Together has that unique drum beat in it, and I really, really enjoyed that.
It's got it's got more energy in it, but
Yeah,
I like it because it's more of that, again, it's more of that one of those socially conscious Nickelback songs.
yeah. Um, just absolutely awesome. Just
Mhm.
absolutely awesome. Other songs off this that I absolutely love: Midnight Queen, Gotta Get Me Some. Trying not to, pretty much like what you said. I like all of the songs. Kiss It Goodbye is interesting. Kiss It Goodbye to me, when I first heard it, it's a song about how fame in anything, whether it's Hollywood or the music industry or whatever you're in, YouTube fame is fleeting.
Oh yeah.
It's not going to stick around forever. Um, I think the one single so far off this that has really picked up with everyone is Lullaby.
Oh yeah.
That video, when they premiered that, I was like, oh my god, when they premiered that video, because essentially the video is a young couple. The wife dies in childbirth, and the guy is thinking of, oh well, I just need to adopt it. And then he sees the child, and he's like, no, I can do this. I
Yeah.
can do this because my wife or my girlfriend or whatever else. And the first, I don't know. This kind of takes me back to a Randy Travis song, actually, sadly. Randy Travis song, not anymore. What is it? God, what is it? Stupid song. There's a song with the exact same type or not Randy Travis. It's Travis Tritt.
Is that the one with oh god, I know the song you're talking about.
If I Lost You.
Yeah, exactly.
If I Lost You, because that had that video with Annie hitting her head on the boat on the boat dock and dying, and the father has to, it's essentially that same type of song, but the song is so powerful. In an interview that Chad had done that I had listened to on Rockline Radio, rocklineradio.com, he basically said Lullaby at the time when he wrote it was about the fact that something had happened to his babysitter's family, one of his babysitter's family members or something, and that's as a kid, that's how he drew back on that experience as a kid to write the song. It's just an amazing song.
Yeah. No, and again, it's like a lot of when you're able to like take really intensely personal stuff like this,
Yep.
and put it out there like that. Never mind how you're doing it, like music vid or movies or whatever. It's just that's pretty daring. I mean, just to air dirty laundry like that.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's always somebody that's going to like call it cry foul and say you're just trying to cash in on, negative human experience, and well, those people are a-holes to begin with. So, but no, I mean, the fact that he put it out there like that really is something.
Yeah, it
The,
is.
the other song, like I said, I Don't Ever Let It End.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite track on here. It's just ahead of Trying Not to Love You.
Yeah. Don't ever let it end is like, a relationship is going to come to an end, but you don't want it to. It's that
Well, yeah.
kind of song. I
It's,
believe that's what Chad had said it was about.
well, it's basically like, they're friends
Right.
and sex changes everything. Not in saying that's what he was talking about, but
Right. Yeah.
They cross that line, they're never going back. So, don't ever let it. You could see that's why.
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
just
No, I know. I know. So we are going to take a quick album break here, and we're going to be Curbing the State.
Should've known enough, never grown enough, alone enough to know my way would be the path I wanted to drive. If it fails to be good for me, then I'd rather die. And I can't sleep. Oh, but thank you for coming. Well, somebody's gonna do it again. Gonna make me turn against all of my friends. So you better have something damn willing to say. Now I see, not really digging this. And you bleed much better than I bleed. And you've shown all that is so good. And your word much better than my word. And you stand right where a hole should, running through the deep, going to find a backwoods. I found out, yeah, if I ever know it, ever know. You fall down, makes you wanna stay. Who the hell would want to anyway? Well, I'm leaving, and I want it all, so I got it all. But I found the song, and I found out where it's all at.
So there you go. We're back from the album break. Hope you enjoyed that. And now we're going to start with our next topic. Starting out raw to becoming a polished radio-friendly band. Now, as I said before when we were talking about the albums, stuff on Curb I thought was very, very raw. The State, they kind of started getting some polish on them. Obviously, Silver Side Up and Beyond is where they've gotten polished every time. Now, I know Mike Dodd would say that The State and Silver Side Up is where they were really original and raw, but, I mean, as we've discussed already in this episode, every album, they've had stuff that has happened to them that they've put into their songs.
Well, yeah.
You know, there is stuff like How You Remind Me, Photograph, Gotta Be Somebody. There are going to be those radio-friendly songs, but, you know...
Because that's what sells the donuts.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, like, I can look on... I can look at Here and Now, specifically the most recent album, and I can count on this album 1, 2, 3... let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 songs that are sexual or drunkenness in nature. Bottoms Up, Midnight Queen, Gotta Get Me Some, and Everything I Want to Do.
Oh, especially that one.
Yeah.
Because let's put it this way, if Shaking Hands was the dark horse, Everything I Want to Do is to Here and Now.
Yeah, exactly. But like 4 songs out of 11 tracks that are radio friendly, that are, you know, essentially, you know, putting on to frat boys and hot chicks and everything else. 4 songs out of 11, that's not bad, because as I've already said, Lullaby has a message, Kiss It Goodbye has a message, Trying Not to Love You has a message, Holding On to Heaven has a message, and Don't Ever Let It End has a message. Even This Means War and When We Stand Together have messages. So 4 songs that appeal to the drunken crowd.
The basest of all human nature.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not that bad. What are your thoughts on the band going from where they started to where they are now as a polished rock band?
Well, I mean, certainly, like I said, I haven't listened to Curb, so wouldn't know how raw they sounded originally. But I'd be definitely listening to The State. You know, there's just a little bit of polish. You can hear the promise. You can hear the, I guess, the industry. The respect that Nickelback has for their chosen craft. And that travels along the way. Like Silver Side Up, again, that was the breakthrough. That was the quantum leap forward in terms of songwriting, performing, you know, everything about them. and they just kind of build on each successive album. They go from there again, Long Road, All the Right Reasons. That's where I wouldn't say they've peaked, but that's where they found their voice finally. That's where they really hit the main vein of musical gold. And even on Dark Horse, like I said, not my favorite album, but they're still there and they're growing. And that one they went for the whole sexy time fun. But even then they're growing. It's like any artist, they keep working at it and they keep trying to be better than they were before. So like All the Right Reasons was where they hit it big. And Here and Now, I think again that, because even with with Everything I Want, all the other adult songs like that on the album, I'd still say it's their best work to date. Because like I said, I never listen to this song on shuffle.
Yeah.
And I think that says something. If you're going to listen to a song and you're not going to like skip ahead to like the fourth track right away.
Right. Yeah.
So, but no, it's like they grew and they grew and they learned and they evolved. And that's the whole thing. You listen from the state forward, they're constantly evolving their music and their craft. So
Yep.
I can't not like these guys unless Chad, used the baby as a human shield. I find that I suspect that there's very little that could happen that,
Yeah,
make
and I
me
mean,
dislike the guy.
And people in general write them off because of How You Remind Me, Someday, and then of course, stuff like, Something in Your Mouth and, Bottoms Up and everything else. People write them off just because those are the radio friendly songs. Those are the songs that get the airplays. They don't realize and because that's all they probably know, they don't want to explore more and find stuff like Lullaby, like granted, Too Bad was radio played, but they don't want to find stuff like Never Again or even Old Enough and Cowboy Hat, Off of the State. Those were great story songs as well. And I think that is kind of where Nickelback, they're not going to have a downfall, but that's kind of where like someone who has heard about them and they're like, oh, I'm not going to listen to that band just because of their most famous songs. That's the problem. It just is. And
they've taken everything in stride. Like, all the negative criticism and reviews and all that.
They took. Let's take this year for example, and the Super Bowl that did not want Nickelback, and it's like,
I can understand why Detroit would not, like the citizens of Detroit would not want Nickelback to play the halftime show, because it's an American Thanksgiving, it's American football. Let's get an American band. Now, they can be pissed off as they want. Did they really need to make like that online
petition?
Like the petition, that.
That's what makes it so fucking stupid. And first of all, yes, Nickelback originated in Canada. Yes, they are a Canadian rock band. However, because of their success, they are now a rock band of the world, I would say. But they are also a U.S. rock band because I think most of them, if not all of them, are based out in L.A. They all live out in L.A., I think, now. I don't know for sure. It's not like I want to get into their personal lives. I like the music. I don't give a shit what they do in their personal lives, as long as you said, as long as they aren't, throwing babies off cliffs and whatever else. Oh, sorry, Michael. Didn't mean to bring that up.
No, they're based out of Vancouver right now.
Are they?
Yeah.
I could have sworn Chad lived in L.A. Huh.
Oh, they might have something set up for themselves.
I don't know. All as I'm saying is that the whole Super Bowl thing was so friggin' stupid because, let's be honest, doesn't matter who you're going to get for the Super Bowl halftime show, someone's going to hate it. whether it's Garth Brooks, whether it's Nipplegate, whether it's the Black Eyed Peas, whether it's Wyclef Jean. It doesn't
Whether it's
matter.
Madonna bitching about someone flipping the bird.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. And the whole thing of it was the reason why they were there is kind of what we talked about earlier, where you mentioned about all the what was the song that all the proceeds went to charity? Was it If Everyone Cared?
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with this year and the new album, or well, last year and the new album, and this year in the Super Bowl, was that they teamed up with the NFL and the United Way. So they're doing charity while still putting out amazing music. And they took all this stuff in stride. They went on to, oh God, what was it? Oh God, what is that stupid website?
Funny or Die. Oh, the Funny or Die video.
Yeah. They made a Funny or Die video about, essentially just making fun of Detroit for how stupid they're being, saying, oh, we want a petition against you guys. Doesn't that fucking city know when any rock band as popular as Nickelback comes to your fucking town, it's going to bring you money?
Yeah, but I mean, that's like telling a New York Yankees fan to switch allegiance and start cheering for the Boston Red Sox.
You just had to go there, didn't you, you asshole?
I'm not knocking you because you were from Massachusetts. I'm just saying that's the same thing. That's like my roommate telling me I should cheer for the Calgary Stampeders instead of the Saskatchewan Roughriders in Canadian football because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
And see, that's the other thing. Like within the span of like 2.5 weeks, they were at the Super Bowl, and then they went up to what is it, CFL? They went up to the CFL Bowl or whatever it was.
It's the Grey Cup.
Well,
they did the NFL Thanksgiving Day game at Ford Field in Detroit, and then they did the 99th Grey Cup in Vancouver on November 27th of last year.
Right.
So basically 3 days after Detroit.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that not only was the video poking fun at how blatantly lemming-like the Detroit people were in the whole anti-Nickelback thing. They're also knocking the Detroit hometown heroes like Dave Coulier and Thomas Magnum from Magnum PI was from Detroit, and RoboCop, and and also they're also poking fun at music executives because the two guys are like, who are those guys at the end of the video?
Yeah.
Although the best part of it is where Chad goes, I'm keeping the suit. He walks out with the the tin-foiled and cardboard RoboCop armor.
Yeah.
Which I wonder if he's got that at home.
He probably does.
Yeah. But no, I mean, there was really, like I said, from the state on forward, like there's been a constant evolution of music, but there's been a constant evolution of themselves personally. I mean, you don't hear it so much like Silver Side Up and prior to that, but everything after that, there's been at least one or two songs that are putting forward the notion of kind of social responsibility in a way. I mean, If Everyone Cared, and I'd have to look back on their track. I think it was on The Long Road. You just have to give me a second here.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it was Throw Yourself Away, but there's other songs that they've got this, can't we all just get along and get our crap together sort of aspect to it. So
yeah, probably the one off The Long Road was maybe Believe It or Not. Maybe I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Video where everyone's got like a countdown clock over their head, and this guy's like saving people from being pianos or run over or something.
Let me see.
Just
music videos. Let's see. Where's Saving Me, Figured You Out, Feeling Way Too Damn Good. And they only made 3 videos off of The Long Road, so it's either Someday, which wouldn't be Figured You Out, or Feeling Way Too Damn Good. Feeling Way Too Damn Good was the one about the airport. So I don't know. Overall, I still wish Mike Dodd would have been here for this because I know he would have had more arguments or more points to bring up as far as them going from being raw and original to being polished.
It was saving me off of All the Right Reasons. That's the one I was thinking.
Yeah,
of.
that's the other one. Yeah. The thing is that, as I've already said, I don't think they're that. I mean, their sound is polished, but a lot of the messages in a lot of their songs, both from All the Right Reasons and Here and Now, are not that polished. As I already pointed out, 4 out of 11 tracks are, just tracks for everyone to just like, and the other tracks all have messages to them. So we are going to take another album break, and this time we are going to be silver siding up the long road.
Pills and all, enough to kill him while he sleeps. Is this the alley we drag him to? Just stop of Hollywood and Normandy. If it worked like she said it would, just like in Hollywood, just like a bad dream, or so it seems. Just like I'm back in the emergency, making friends, setting trends, hardly having a tribe. Down the aisle, still straight at you. Still hear you screaming, where do I hide? It's just it's not worth it for me. Gets harder every time I call you. This life you lead, like a living in a shiny ballroom. Next time you bleed, right about this time tomorrow. Next time you steal, better ask before you borrow. Oh, no, gotta learn this someday. Why sure that I said that I would. We gotta make love just one last time in the shower. Well, something's gotta go wrong, cause I'm feeling way too damn good. It wasn't that hard just to figure you out. And now I know who you are. It wasn't that hard just to figure you out. I like the freckles on your chest. Wash my hands of this. You notice I've got it even helping you out. Wash my hands of this. You notice I've got it even helping you out of hell. Don't you throw yourself away. You know they're gonna put it down. Well, I'm drowning in your ocean. It's much cooler in slow motion.
We are back, and the next topic is the wars between Creed and Nickelback. Now, before we get too far into this one, I wanted to bring up one other thing. It's something I did not mention about their origin. It's very, very hilarious how they got the band name. Apparently,
Oh yes, that's
Apparently-
probably. Sorry, you go.
no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I'll say my thing after you because it's just
Apparently, apparently Mike Kroeger, Chad's brother, used to work at a Starbucks, and he would always say, "Here's your Nickelback," when he would give change, because the coffee back in those days was still 95 cents. So if people gave him $1, he'd be like, "Here's your Nickelback," and he's like, "That'd be a good name for a band." Apparently,
yeah, it's a really good name for a band. I like that. It's like one of those kind of, it's kind of like Peter Parker calling himself Spider-Man. It's just
yeah,
Nickelback. That
yeah.
it's one of those, just go with the first thing that pops in your head, which is one of the aspects of when a good name is it's simple and you're good to go. But the wars between Creed and Nickelback. If there's a war between Creed and Nickelback, it's an underground Cold War, because I haven't heard one flippin' thing about this.
Okay, well, here's the deal. This happened on the state, pretty much.
Okay.
Because, as we all know, Creed didn't last too much longer after 2000.
Yeah, 2002, but minor point.
Okay, well, all right. Well, then then it could essentially go to the to Silver Side Up, but Human Clay, which was released at some point. Where is their discography thing? Here we go. The Human Clay was released in '99. Okay, so a year before the state. So Creed had Higher and all those other, With Arms Wide Open and everything else, and then 2001 comes around, they release Weathered in November, which Nickelback had just released Silver Side Up in September. So they kept... I remember radio stations here in Louisville kept putting stuff like Leader of Men up against Higher, stuff like How You Remind Me up against With Arms Wide Open. And it was just kind of like this whole war of which band do you want to choose? Which band do you want to listen to? And through the miracle of longevity and their lead singer not having a total nervous breakdown and just melting into nothing, Nickelback survived. and they've been producing
Yeah,
music ever since. Whereas
yeah.
Creed,
Well, no.
go ahead.
Well, that's just the whole thing. I remember one thing because I was a huge Creed fan growing up in high school and such, and I still do kind of like the band. You know, I haven't really gone back and listened to any of their stuff lately, but I still like them. It's just I remember, they got bashed back in the day. It was like, you're trying to be Pearl Jam, Scott Stapp's trying to be Eddie Vedder, and I was just like, they're just making music, dude. Like, let it go.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with Nickelback, but. As if you compare Scott Stapp to Chad Kroeger, Chad did name his first son after a bottle of black licorice tasting booze, because that's what Scott Stapp did. He named his firstborn son Jaeger, as in Jägermeister.
God.
And also, dude, really? But no, I could see that, the war between Creed and Nickelback like that. But yeah, I had never really heard about that. The only thing if anything, their similarities should bring them together more than their differences, in the fact that everyone insists on bashing them with a large club.
Yes.
Because your music sucks. Your music is formulaic. Your music is way too catchy. Sorry for being a success.
Yes.
I'm gonna make that shirt and send it to Chad Kroeger.
Oh boy,
that would be awesome.
Yes, it would be. I've gone back and I've listened to a lot of the Creed songs. I liked "Weathered" for the most part, which they did in 2003. And I liked certain songs off of all their other albums, but at this point, for me, Creed is just nostalgia. And I am more in the Nickelback camp at this point, obviously, since I'm essentially a diehard fan of theirs. It's like, 44 more check-ins and I'll be an elite fan of theirs. Sorry, bad Get Glue joke. But yeah, the reason why I brought this even up was because at the time when the two bands were releasing their albums, they don't sound similar, but they were always played. You'd have a Creed song and then you have a Nickelback song, so people would assume that they sound really similar to each other, even though they had nothing to do with each other. So that's why I brought this one up. I just figured it would be a nice little buffer before our next topic, which we will get to after this album break, as we find out what all the right reasons are for a dark horse.
The next contestant is that your Somewhere between Cher and James Dean is fine for me.
So how you gonna do it?
I'm gonna trade this life for fortune and fame. I'd even cut my hair and change my name. Cause we all just wanna be big rock stars and live in hilltop houses driving 15 cars. The girls come easy and the drugs come cheap. We'll all stay skinny cause we just won't eat. And we'll and tease them all by sucking on your thumb. You're so much cooler when you never pull it out. Cause you look so much cuter with something in your mouth. We got no fear, no doubt, all in balls out. We're going up tonight to kick out every light. Take anything we want, drink everything inside. We're going till the world stops turning while we burn it to the ground at night. We'll play out like a scene straight off the silver screen. So I'll be holding my breath right up till the end, until that moment when I find the one that I'll spend forever with. 'Cause nobody wants to be the last one there, and everyone wants to feel like someone cares. Someone to love with my life in their hands. There's gotta be somebody for me like. Yeah, we're gonna love it when the lights go down. Hold on, here we go. Yeah, we're gonna go until our legs give out. Round and round we go. Yeah, we're gonna do it hanging upside down. Up and down we go. Yeah, we're getting ready for the next go round. Round and round we go. So if I haven't yet, I've gotta let you know you're never gonna be alone. From this moment on. Well, she ain't no Cinderella when she's getting undressed, 'cause she rocks it like the naughty wicked witch of the west. Far too pretty to be given and cheap. That's why she's making six figures, working 3 days a week. Yeah, she'd even break a promise in the promised land. She didn't make it this far by just shaking hands. She can money making twice as hard as anyone can. She didn't make it this far by just shaking hands. I'm loving what you wanna wear. Wonder what's up under there. Wonder if I'll ever have it under my tongue. I'd love to try to set you free. I love you all over me. Love to hear the sound you make the second you're done. S is for the simple, E is for the ecstasy. X is just to mark the spot, 'cause that's the one you really want. That first step you take is the longest ride. If today was your last day and tomorrow was too late, could you say goodbye to yesterday? Would you live each moment like your last? Leave old pictures in the past. Donate every dime you had. If today was your last day, 6 in the morning, nothing wrong with going all night long. Tough to put the brakes on, doesn't matter when you gotta get up and go out. Me and all my friends, we drink up, we fall down, then we'll do it all again. Just sitting around, hanging out this afternoon.
All right, and now we are going to get into the one topic of where JT and I just don't get it. Again, why we wanted to have Mike Dodd on here to give us some insight, but he's off, blowing up rims of sky and stuff like that, or whatever else he does. Why do people hate Nickelback? I've never understood this outside of what we've already talked about in this episode of, hey, sometimes it is the same three chords. I know a guy who's on a forum, earth-2.net. Go over there and join their forums. It's an awesome, awesome website. Desmond Reddick. He does one of, if not the only, and I don't know if it's the only, but for me it's probably the best, because I've only listened to a few episodes because it's not my favorite genre, but in my opinion, Des does the best horror podcast ever. His horror podcast is Dread Media. He also does a music podcast called Drop D, where they review one artist. They'll take one artist or band and review every single album they'll take, Appetite for Destruction will be one episode, Use Your Illusion will be another episode, that kind of thing, where they go album by album reviewing these artists and bands and stuff like that. Now, Des, a while ago, a number of years ago, when I joined the Earth-2.net forums, it was actually when Dark Horse came out. I, posted, hey, here's the track listing, here's the art, here's this, here's that. I said, I know I'm probably in the minority here on the forums that I like Nickelback, which is fine. Des told a story. I posted the single picture. You can find it on Wikipedia. The single picture of "Gotta Be Somebody," where it's the band just standing there with a light tannish sky, and it says Nickelback "Gotta Be Somebody." And he comments, and he's like, "You see that? They never show the backs of their heads. That's because of me." Apparently, because Des is also Canadian, apparently there's this story out there on the forum somewhere. I tried to find it. I couldn't find it. Where he had an altercation with the band.
Really?
Yeah, and I wanted him to call into the show so he could tell the story, but he did give me a response. I asked him, I said, hey, can you at least give me something here so I can refute this moron on YouTube? There's this idiot Matt on YouTube who apparently someone asked him, why do you hate Nickelback so much? And he goes on to say that terrorists aren't as bad as Nickelback. Murderers aren't as bad as Nickelback. Now, I don't know if this guy is trying to be funny or is just trying to do a spoof thing here, or if he's actually serious. But I was like, I can see laying out reasons why you don't like the band. Is it because of their music? Is it because of whatever? But saying that terrorists and murderers are better than a rock band, any rock band, doesn't have to be Nickelback, that's just fucking dumb.
I'm going to put it like this. I'm going to say, like I said in the beginning of the show, or I forget that was when beginning recording or off air previous, was there's a 50-50 split, at least in Canada. There's a 50-50 split when it comes to people, whether or not they like Nickelback, which I think is fair. Right. My opinion for music is if you like your music, you like it. You can defend it all you want. You got to be intelligent about it. Something like that is so far... Yeah. It's so far beyond ignorant, it's malignant. Like he's got to have a tumor pressing on the on his brain somewhere that's causing this.
Yes. So I asked Des, I said, hey, can you either tell the story? Would you do this for me, really quickly? If you have the spare time? And here's the response he gave me, as far as just kind of talking about why he doesn't like them. He goes, honestly, Mike, music is subjective. I hate Nickelback because I feel they offer nothing to me musically. I don't begrudge anyone their enjoyment of anything, but I also don't feel the need to debate why I don't like things. I don't like it unless I'm reviewing something. Note that I have been around Nickelback for a lot longer than you. I was part of the same music scene for a long time before they became the band you know. At one time, they had a slice of integrity and somewhat interesting voice. Not Chad's, I mean the band. As a band. But they have done everything I believe to be wrong and artistically and musically. Put aside any attempt to create something interesting or honest or lowball their music to appeal to frat guys and girls who might just take their tops off at their concerts. That's all I've got. We've crossed paths a few times. The story of one such time is detailed in depth somewhere on the forums, but it has nothing to do with my thoughts of their music. In short, I don't waste my time thinking about them because I prefer to enjoy the things I enjoy and spend time searching out things that I may like. That's all I've got to say about them. Take it or leave it. Thank you, Des, um, for replying to me. That was very, very awesome of you to take out the time to write that. And that is a educational and very compelling argument that he's giving. He doesn't like it because of the music, and that's fine, and that's all well and good. But you can't be someone like this moron on YouTube that just says this stupid shit to get a laugh.
Yeah. Let's look at Dez's response. Well reasoned, well thought out, intelligent, articulate, and he's honest. He doesn't like them personally. He doesn't like their music, and that's fine. He's like he said, I don't begrudge his opinion any more than he begrudges yours or mine.
Right.
Now let's look at the Dingleberry on YouTube. Unintelligent.
Yes.
I don't know what like a lower magnitude of sophomoric is, but
Freshman?
no, like I'm talking in terms of stupidity.
Oh, yeah.
The sophomoric, unintelligent, needs to stop sucking on his daddy's you-know-what, because seriously, because somebody that says something like that has either got personal issues on a level that I'm not really comfortable discussing.
Yes.
Or I don't know, because when it comes to Nickelback hate, like the people, when it comes to Nickelback haters, there's another 50-50 split. There's the people like Dez, who are intelligent people I just don't like their music. They like maybe earlier Nickelback. They think they've sold out. I don't care to listen to them there, but that's cool if you like them. It's like I know guys that like listening to Nicki Minaj, but I can't know for the life of me know why.
Yeah.
But I don't hate them.
Right.
I'm not going to light a cross on fire in the lawn or something.
Right. Yeah.
But then you got these people that it's just unintelligent. Like I say, I like Nickelback, and the first words out of their mouth would be, "Oh, they're shit." Why are they shit? They're shit.
I know, and that's what pisses me off. It's like, okay, as you just said, Dez gave a very intelligent and articulated and detailed response of why he doesn't like them.
Yeah.
Whereas, you come up, someone comes up to you and said, "Hey, who's your favorite band?" And you'll say, Nickelback or whoever, and they'll be like, "Oh, they're shit." Why? They just are. It's like you can't. I mean, I know I've given that kind of response before of why I don't like something just because it's shit. I just don't like it because I whatever. But I don't understand why, if they are a rock band who has sold 50 billion or 50 million, I forget what the number is, but they've sold like 50 million albums, whatever, in concert sales. I mean, just almost 96 to 2016, almost 20 years of them being around. We are almost coming up on 20 years of Nickelback being in the music spotlight. And all of their concert sales, all of the money that they've made. I mean,
awards, nominations, like
yeah,
there's this overwhelming mountain of evidence that they're popular, and it's by average Joes like you and me. And I'm not saying that people don't put thought into what they listen to, but it's come to this point. I'm paraphrasing at best. I'm paraphrasing comedian Christopher Titus, who is one of my all-time favorite comics. I think he's a fiercely intelligent guy. He said something, when did mediocrity become acceptable?
Yeah.
And that's what it seems a lot of these naysayers, a lot of the anti-Nickelback people are saying, like, that because they consider Nickelback to be mediocre at best, and that's them being polite.
Yeah.
Why is it that no one's allowed to just enjoy something anymore? It's kind of like talking with Ben and Neil on an animation aficionado.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's the best example I have.
I know.
It's like you and I did the Batman episode where we sang a little bit of the praises, but we also pointed out some of the faults, you know, because we tried to present our cases why we liked it. Whereas, and it's mainly been, I mean, Neil's got his arguments, but Neil was like Dez in his argument of everything.
Yeah.
It's when did it become not okay to just like something? It's like I spoke of earlier, wanting to go see the movie Lockout, which is basically it's Escape from New York in outer space. Guy Pearce it's like Guy Pearce is basically playing an amalgamation of every 80s action hero from Arnold to Bruce Willis, where he's this tough guy, he's obnoxious, he's rude, he's crude, he's got a quip for every occasion, but god damn it, I'm gonna love this movie.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Nickelback. They've got incredibly catchy songs. I don't like everything they've done, but I still love their music. But when you say this out loud, like again, why is it so hard for people to accept in an age when, and I blame American Idol for this, in an age, because Nickelback started way before American Idol. Well, at least 5 years before, and they came out of that generation that was playing clubs, making demos, hustling, working their butt off. And then you got people like that come off of American Idol. Now, I'm not knocking Kelly Clarkson because she's got an incredible voice and I do like her music. It's just this concept of all you have to do is perform on a TV show and get people to like you. It's so much more of a popularity contest in terms of selling albums nowadays than the actual quality of music a lot of times. Whereas I think Nickelback has worked very hard and they produce an incredible amount, incredibly good songs, some of them.
Yes.
And I like them, but no one has ever sat down and given me, aside from very few people, sat down and given me why we don't like it.
Yeah.
Like they've never given me a Dez argument. You know, Dez gave us a great argument. He doesn't like them. He pointed out why he thinks they've lost what he once liked about them. That's cool. But no one else ever gives that argument.
No. And everyone that I talk, this is one of the reasons why we here at GeekCast Radio Network will probably never do a music podcast, at least not in the near future, just a overall general music podcast, because this Music Spotlight is the first time I've ever really talked about, in the public eye of my musical tastes. I mean, it's not like I don't podcast about my musical taste because half my musical taste, people are like, why do you like that? It's like, why do you like that? It's, whatever else. But I just felt that this was something that, this entire spotlight we've been doing up to this point is something that, geeks need to hear because even geeks like music. You can be a music geek and a lot of people are. And I just felt like it was something that needed to be done. And obviously, as one of my favorite bands and one of your favorite bands, Nickelback needed to be covered. I just don't understand why people hate Nickelback.
No, I can certainly, like I said, I can understand that people will not like a band for whatever reason.
Right.
And that I'll accept. What I don't get about the Nickelback hate is, well, like the Detroit Thanksgiving Day things, all these people, I can guarantee you at least, and statistically, I have no idea how this will bear out, at least 90% of the people that signed that petition had no fucking clue who Nickelback was. All they heard was Canadian band and American national holiday.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason they signed up. I will guarantee you at least that 10%, they said no to Nickelback because they did not feel they reflected well on... I mean, you look at Detroit. I mean, you got Motown, you've got...
RoboCop.
Well, RoboCop, yeah, but I'm talking when musically, you got stuff like Motown. You've got some rappers, some singers that have come, some great singers that have come out of that city.
Yeah.
The only reason Nickelback was there, and I'm not knocking Nickelback for this, is their record company probably backed like 3 or 4 dump trucks full of money up to the NFL, and it's like, here, we want them to play.
Yeah.
And
again, it also goes to what I pointed earlier. They signed up with United Way to do some charity, so that's the other reason.
Yeah, but there's never like this. It's very the zealot-like hatred of Nickelback is really fucking scary when you think about how closely this is to like even like it's musical racism in a way.
Yeah.
You know, it's really scary how many people turn into friggin' lemmings and just jump on the wheelbarrow or the bandwagon. That's the word. This anti-Nickelback bandwagon, where there is really no intelligent reason to do it. You can, like I said, you can voice your opinion now, like your opinion about how you prefer X-Men '92 to Evolution. You've reasoned that out. Well, you prefer because of nostalgia, and that's the one you grew up on, and all that. That's why you like it. No one. There's never been like a manifesto of why we hate Nickelback, which
Yeah.
that would make a hell of a lot more sense than like their music sucks. Why? It just sucks.
Yeah.
Why? You know, then you get that infinite peristaltic chain reaction.
Yes.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. So we're gonna go to our final album break where we find out what Nickelback have been up to here and now.
The only thing to save is the banner that you wave to be wrapped around your grave. You got to fall. Who you think you are? This is what you came for. Will this be grab a JB, whatever you need. Have a shot from the bottle, doesn't matter to me. Another round in the rough, hammer down, grab a cup, bottoms up, and then just turn it on. We must stand together. There's no giving in. A hand in hand forever. That's when we all win. That's when we all win. Red light show, feel like a king and she's my ace in the hole, and I can't get enough of the things that she does. She's gonna be my midnight queen. Lock and load and I'm ready to go. She's gonna lick my pistol clean. She's got a hold of me and ain't letting go, and I can't get enough of the things that she does. And it turns out she's got everything I want. All rolled into one. She smokes a little homegrown, drinks a little Cuervo, still a little down low. There's never a doubt she's got a fast car, harder than a damn ball, looking like a rock star. She'll be the talk of the town, you know that she's got everything I want. But all rolled into one, gotta get me some. Come on, buddy, look at that body, big just like the stick around a boom boom ride. She's a scene from a Baywatch rerun, hotter than a barrel on a squeeze machine gun. Lay down on the floor, and you're not sure you can take this anymore. So just give it one more try to a lullaby. Turn this up on the radio. If you can hear me now, I'm reaching out to let you know that you're not alone. And you can't tell, I'm scared as hell, 'cause I can't get you on the telephone. So just close your eyes. Oh, here comes a lullaby. your birthday. And as you pulled me near, you whispered in my ear, don't ever let it in. Don't let it, don't let it, don't
All right, so final category is Nickelback songs we still like listening to today. For me, it's a majority of them. From the State to Here and Now. As JT said before, Here and Now, at least for me and I think as well as him, is the one album that we can both listen to cover and absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Nickelback made mine number one on my top 5 2011 albums last year. But, songs that I still listen to from the back catalog, a lot of the stuff from All the Right Reasons, Photograph, Animals. I've always loved, and I will still love Hollywood and Hangnail from Silver Side Up. It's very rare that I listen to How You Remind Me unless it comes up in shuffle. But, and stuff off the State like Worthy to Say and Cowboy Hat and Leader of Men, those are all great. What about you? What are some songs besides the,
Here and
between
Now?
the two of us, besides the answer of all of them?
Yeah. Well, no, I do love their music. Like I said, pretty much everything on Here and Now. You go Dark Horse, it was certainly, Gotta Be Somebody, If Today Was Your Last Day.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more that, and again, basically everything on All the Right Reasons.
Yeah.
And if you go on down like The Long Road, I liked the album. Like I thought it was a solid album. Feeling Way Too Damn Good, Someday, Figured You Out, and I mean, Feeling Way Too Damn Good is something that's like one of those songs. Like, and I've never made a formal list, but it's in that list of songs that I listen to after work on the drive home. Because it takes me about 15, almost 20 minutes if I decide to, drag my heels driving home. It's one of those ones that's kind of that cool down sort of song. Just kind of, I de-stress.
I know people are going to kill me for this reference, but Feeling Way Too Damn Good is Nickelback's answer to Free Fallin'.
You're on your own there, Mike.
Oh, come on.
I'm not saying that's your opinion. I don't see it, but it's okay. I'm just like, oh, Tom Petty. Well, just hands up, back away slow. JT, why are there laser sights all over my body? I don't know, but I'm getting a cover.
Yeah.
No, it's they got great songs. Like all in all, there's here and there are some things I don't like Something in Your Mouth. I like the beat of that song, like the guitar on that song.
Yeah.
Again, off of Here and Now, the what was the track? I just got to find the track name here. Gotta Get Me Some Stripper Anthem.
Oh yeah.
But it's got that great, that hard guitar growl to it that I love in rock music.
What I've found with this band is that they will create, and this might also go to people saying that their songs sound the same sometimes. They create songs and then create sequels to songs. Because if you take Shakin' Hands off of Dark Horse, and then you look at Gotta Get Me Some off of Here and Now, it's essentially, a hooker song in one and a stripper song in the other. Midnight Queen. I mean, Midnight Queen, oh my God. When I heard that lyric of licking his pistol clean, I was like, oh my God. I was like, wow, I can't, that was when I got to Midnight Queen on my first listen through of Here and Now, I was like, oh my God, I can see why When We Stand Together is the only song they can play on television.
Yeah, no, I can see it. Yeah, there's a lot of more songs I like than I dislike.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's maybe in there, just counting from the State from 2000 in the last 12 years, there's maybe 5 songs out of their entire catalog that I just don't listen to. You know, so overall, I just absolutely love the band.
No,
Any other thoughts?
Well, I mean, something I should have brought up when we were talking about their like the whole Nickelback hate. The one thing to look at with Nickelback is the awards that they've won. You know, just taking a quick look here. I mean, you look at just How You Remind Me when it came out in 2002. It won Billboard's Hot 100 Single of the Year, Hot 100 Airplay Single, Hottest Singles Duo. They won Duo Group of the Year, Rock Album of the Year, Grammys. You know, they were nominated basically 03 through 05 and 08 and 10. Pretty much every year, at least one or two of their songs has been nominated at the Grammys. They've won almost half the times. They've been nominated at the Juno Awards in Canada. You know, I don't think they would have all this stuff if they weren't a good band.
Right.
It's just like, I don't get it, George. You know. And then you look at the reception on their wiki, and in the bottom of the article, it says guys like Chris Martin of Coldplay and R&B singer-producer Timbaland support these guys. And I like Coldplay and I love Timbaland, and I would love to see either of these guys get together and work with Nickelback on something. Like, think about it, you got all this public disapproval of Nickelback, but then you got guys like Chris Martin and Timbaland who are stepping up as like, they're cool people. You know, they're throwing their lot in with Nickelback. I was like, why not?
Yeah,
So I think to sum it up, for me at least, is I love this band. I love what they've done. I hope it gets better from here, and everyone else can just shut the hell up.
Exactly. So with that, we're going to go to our very quick commercial break, and then we'll come back to close the show.
Is this thing on? Oh, goody. Why, hello there. It's your dear old Uncle Joker here. I bet you're asking yourself, what could I be possibly doing here of all places? Well, I'm laughing at the fact that this new podcast presented by GeekCast Radio is called Legends of the Dark Knight. Who the heck knew the Bat was so popular? Ugh. Join Steve, Mike, and sometimes Tara for reviews on the greatest DC animated universe cartoon to ever meet Gotham City. So join moi for the talk of the town, or I'll send Captain Clown after you. He gets mighty angry when he doesn't get to have his garbage skull. So put on a nice big smile and join us for the next GeekCast Radio Network podcast, Legends of the Dark Knight.
Grab your helmets because it's time to assemble Mask. The GeekCast Radio Network has launched Masked Mayhem with your hosts Optimus Solo and TFG and Mike. This podcast covering all 75 episodes of Mask will feature in-depth analysis of every episode, talk on the toys, and more. Masked Mayhem will run 30 podcast episodes. You can find us in iTunes and on www.geekcastradio.com. Get your spectrums ready as podcasting is the ultimate weapon.
Movie Week in Review is the GeekCast Radio Network's weekly movie podcast. Steve and Mike take a look back on their favorite films and give you their thoughts. They also bring in co-hosts at times. If you are a movie buff, listen to M-Wire only on geekcastradio.com.
You can now hear the GeekCast Radio Network while on the go with Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher is a free-use and talk mobile app available for your smartphone. And when you download Stitcher to hear GeekCast Radio, you'll have a chance to win money. Downloading is quick and easy. Just find Stitcher in the App Store. During registration, hit the promo code box and enter GeekCast Radio, all one word. to get automatically entered to win $100. The latest episodes of the shows will be waiting for you in your favorites. You'll get access to lots of other amazing shows too. Always available to you on demand, no syncing. It's Stitcher Smart Radio. Don't forget to enter promo code GeekCast Radio when you register.
Hello, nerds. This is Jesse from Rock Sugar, and you're listening to the GeekCast Radio Network. Keep it right here.
So there you have it, folks. That's it for the Nickelback Artist Spotlight. So far for the bands of the 2000s, or the artists of the 2000s, we've had Weird Al Yankovic. The only reason why Weird Al was put in the 2000s section of the Artist Spotlight is because that's when I first found him. So Steve Megatron and I talked about that. JT and I are here for Nickelback now. And we hope you enjoyed this episode of GeekCast Radio. Wish you'll join us next time when the two of us will be talking about the band that essentially got screwed out of their own career, Default.
We're looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Talk about stuff that comes and goes.
Oh, zing!
For now, I am TFG1 Mike with
JT from Saskatoon.
And thank you for listening. Until next time, keep rocking on.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. Buddy, you're a young man, hot man.
You've just listened to GeekCast Radio on the GeekCast Radio Network. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. First, visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on all of our different podcasts. Second, you can rate our show and leave us feedback in iTunes. Third, follow us on Twitter at GeekCast Radio. Fourth, become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCast Radio. Call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you are leaving the message for and your name. So until next time, unleash the geek in you.